Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and we have got some avatar boards to talk about. So before we start talking about these avatar boards, let's just talk about the idea that within the past month, we got 3 new sets of avatar boards. So we got the Kingdom Hearts 3 drop avatar boards, we got the Stitch and Angel avatar boards, and then the Hercules and Megara avatar boards. And it's like, wow, you know, this is something the player database has been waiting for a long time. Multiple avatar boards with really good skills on them, not just rehashes of old ones. So this is really exciting to get this many avatar boards in a short amount of time, because they all come with fantastic skills that can support pretty much almost anyone's game at this point. So thank you to Square Enix for releasing these avatar boards. We really need them. If you could drop them down to 2k jewels versus 2,500, that would be super sweet for everyone that's playing this game right now. But let's go ahead and jump into these avatar boards that we still have 11 days on. So that's the first point I want to make, is that there's 11 days left to buy these avatar boards, which is still a lot of time, considering that now with all the increased daily jewels, with all the bonus jewels you can get from doing daily challenges, you make up to 4,100 jewels a week just from like logging in, playing, doing those daily challenges, and making sure you complete your party's weekly challenges as well. So that's 4,100 jewels, and that is almost enough to buy 2 of these. So even if you're sitting at 0 jewels right now, there's still the ability for you to be able to get at least 2 of them, assuming they give us some quests. Like there's the quiz quest going on right now, that's an extra 500 right there. There was like the plus 2,000 jewels for completing those particularly hard missions for some people. I could see how if you haven't been playing for a long time they would be difficult, but the point is, it's very, very, very plausible that people are able to build 5,000 jewels before the end of these avatar boards. So keep that in mind. You know, you might not be able to pay for them now. There's still some time to be able to get these avatar boards. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the details about the Stitch and Angel avatar boards. So I don't know if this is like a thing they've been doing recently, but I feel like I just noticed it now and it's hilarious. So they start off these avatar boards with like a pun, and I think it's awesome. So you can be from out of this world with Stitch and Angel avatar boards. I feel like this is like the first time I'm really noticing it, because I don't know, these just are sounding really funny to me right now. I usually don't like puns. But yeah, you can be from out of these world with these avatar boards. For 2,500 jewels a piece, each board comes with a set of avatar parts, boost medals, a magic gem, and a trio of useful skills. So let's go ahead and talk about the skills first, because that's always the thing that ropes people into buying these avatar boards. So first of all, we're getting Attack Boost 7. Now, the one thing I want to note here, and this is really the one thing I only care about, is that it's not a max skill. So yes, Attack Boost 7 might boost the attack times 2.4, but the fact that it's not a max skill is really, really deterring at this point in the game, because, you know, we can find max skills almost everywhere now. Like there's even a skills to thrill deal right now that offers max. See, Attack Boost 6 max right there. So honestly, Attack Boost 6 max, I would prefer it over Attack Boost 7, just because if it's not proccing all the time, you know, that adds more like random number generating. That adds more luck to your strategies. And the more luck is in your strategies, the more difficult it like becomes to formulate a strategy, to make plans, because then you're like, okay, is this 54% going to go off? You know, will I have to repeat the whole thing if it doesn't go off? So I really don't like non-max skills, because it just adds more luck. And as you saw from my Prime Key Art 17 and my Kyrie EX Plus pulls, my luck isn't exactly the best. So we want to stick to max skills pretty much from, you know, a few months ago out. That's the way to go, is max skills. So since it's not max, not concerned with it. The next skill we got here is Attack Boost 5 max and Lux Plus. So this is still a really good skill. It is not as good as a Lux Plus Plus skill, but the fact that it's kind of like an add-on is super nice. You can throw it on copy medals, you can throw it on something that you don't plan on using in a lot of your raid builds, because, you know, it's still going to give you lux. It's still going to multiply your lux times 2.5, and that's still really good for a particular medal to be gaining that much more lux. So again, while it's not as good as Lux Plus Plus, it is still a very valuable skill. It is also a max skill, meaning that every time you activate that medal and it has this skill on it, it's gonna be that 100% ×2 strength bonus. Not strength bonus, but it's going to do ×2 as much damage as it normally would. So that's just really, really good in general. So to tack on Lux plus that, super sweet skill. I think it is awesome. And then lastly, we have Defense Boost 3 Max. Now this is a really key selling point for this avatar board, especially and almost absolutely if you do PvP. If you want to be competitive in PvP, you're gonna need Defense Boost 3 Max. You're gonna need to keep up to date with your defense boost, because defense boosts are how you lower the damage that you're taking without having to do anything, without having to buff yourself, without having to like debuff the enemy. Defense boost maxes and other defense boost skills are key to decreasing the amount of damage you take in PvP, ultimately decreasing the amount of score your opponent gets, making it less of a burden for you to gain your own score with your own attacking medals. So it's super relevant. Almost every meta setup that plays PvP is running Defense Boost 3 Max plus some other defense boost skill like Defense Boost 4 or Defense Boost 5. So keep in mind, if you want to do PvP, Defense Boost 3 Max, absolutely necessary. The skill is also still good for turtling missions. So if you're unable to just one-turn everything, you can use Defense Boost 3 Max to push through those particular stages without dying, essentially, without having to activate your HP Recovery 1, without having to activate your second chance. So Defense Boost 3 can save you too. So for people that have a hard time fighting through some quests just because the enemies are too powerful, just because you don't have an appropriate metal setup right now, Defense Boost 3 Max can come in swooping in like a defensive angel to save you from being knocked out. So I still recommend this skill to new players or people that only play here and there, because while the game's meta changes a lot, Defense Boost 3 Max has been super powerful for such a long time, and then next month they're probably going to give us Defense Boost 4 Max. So just having those max skills, again, super essential, especially since defense boost skills usually only have like a percent of about I think it's like 36, 38, something along that range, but it's less than 50%. So to have one that activates 100% all of the time when it's max leveled is super essential for any stage that requires like a defensive setup. With Defense Boost 3 Max, actually it becomes pretty easy to do Proud Mode Quest 160. So when you pair 7-star medals, Defense Boost 3 Max, Proud Mode Quest 160, shouldn't be a problem for most people anymore. Alright, moving on to the avatar parts themselves, there are no additional perks given. So it's just the onesie that you're getting, and I assume the haircut that, kind of goes underneath it. So there are no additional perks, which is kind of a deterrent for this avatar board, because usually it's a nice little bonus to get, like a skill perk, or an item drop perk, or a raid boss omega perk. But these, unfortunately, don't come with either of those. Moving on to the additional bonuses, we have some chips, some Dales, unfortunately a Sid 10, which could be a Mickey and Broom, so Square Enix, if you're watching this, please try and change that Sid 10 to a Mickey and Broom. We can use that way more than a Sid 10. I've got like 99 Sid 10 stocked up, something like that. Like, while I see how it's essential for new players, for sure, there's a lot of ways to get Sid medals. There's even a daily quest for it. So if we could replace that Sid 10 with something more useful, even like an extra chip, an extra Dale, an extra magic mirror even, that would be super awesome. The player database would be super grateful for that kind of thing. And then, so we talked about the skills. You're also going to get a magic gem, which kind of stinks because if you look at these avatar boards, for some reason we've been getting like loaded with magic gems. So the Hercules one, magic gem, Stitch and Angel, magic gem, Sora and Kairi, magic gem, Captain Goofy, magic gem. Man, what's up with all the magic gems? Why are they giving us so many magic gems? It's like they're about to drop some sort of super OP 3 wishes that's like on par with like the reverse Keyblades. I'm not really sure. Maybe our first mixed Keyblade is gonna be like mainly magic dependent. I'm not really sure. But they've been dropping magic gems on us really badly. And then you're also going to get a title based on the avatar board you buy and if you're able to complete it. So if you complete the male avatar board, if you unlock all the nodes, you're going to get Ohana, which is probably super cool for a lot of people that love Lilo and Stitch because that is the key phrase. And then if you unlock all the nodes on the female avatar board, you're going to get Aloha. So as far as I know, they don't really do anything, the titles don't really do anything, but they are super sentimental for people that love sentiment. It's awesome to be able to get these titles, and unfortunately, I feel like both avatar boards should get like Ohana, just because I think it's a really sweet like phrase to get. But I digress. Unfortunately, there is not much I can do about that. So hopefully you get the phrase you want. Those are my analysis of the skills, of the additional stuff, of the perks. So let's move on to the next avatar board. Actually, before we move on to the next avatar board, this was I kind of just a quick 10-second rant. This was kind of dirty that they released these skills right after releasing skills to thrill deals that have DB3 max and like attack boost 5 max Lux plus. Like, they put both of them into this one avatar board, and if you bought like even just one attack boost 5 max and one defense boost 3 max skills to thrill deal, you already missed out on the jewels for this avatar board. So to release it in that kind of order, it's kind of like underhanded. Like, it's almost villainous in the idea that it's like, okay, we're gonna release some skills to thrill deals. They're gonna have some awesome skills in them that people need like right now because it's global raid week. It is PvP is always relevant, so DB3 max always relevant. And then tomorrow we're gonna go release like some avatar boards that have those skills in them. Like, what kind of thinking is that? That is, I don't know, that was poor planning. I really think it'd be super nice if they released a calendar with like, hey, here's what's coming up, here's how much it's gonna cost, this is your plan for the next month, plan around it, don't be foolish, you know, that'd be super nice if they gave us something like that. Unfortunately, in the, like 2 years and 20 months, 2 years and 20 months, geez, 2 years and 2 months I've been playing this game, they have never been so kind to us like that, like they are to people in like Fire Emblem Heroes. So unfortunately, that's just the hand we're dealt with. From here on out, or pretty much from anywhere on out, skills to thrill deals for the most part, traps. So keep that in mind. Wait till the last day to pull for some stuff, because if you don't need it now, you don't need it now. Alright, moving on to what is, in my opinion, the superior avatar board, the Hercules and Megara avatar boards. So, just like what I was talking about with the skills to thrill deals, talk about a slap to the face. They released the Stitch and Angel ones, and then in 1 day later, they released the Hercules and Megara ones, which come with better skills in my opinion. They don't come with DB3 max, but there's still a skills to thrill deal that has DB3 max in it. So instead of wasting the 2,500 jewels on this, they could have just put 1,500 jewels into the defense boost 3 max, and then, you know, saved up for the Hercules and Megara. So just a quick, you know, tidbit note right at the beginning. It's kind of dirty. Skills to thrill deal. Then they put the skills in the Stitch and Angel avatar boards, and then they put better skills in the avatar boards released 1 day later. Not good planning. Not good. No. So I hope that in the future, you know, there's better planning. There is more of a heads up for players rather than the 4 hours before midnight hits in PST. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what I believe is a fantastic avatar board. So, moving on with our puns, you too can be a fashion Greek. A fashion Greek. I think that's hilarious. It's just like, oh my gosh, who came up with this? This is something like straight out of the Hercules movie, a fashion Greek. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. But anyways, for 2,500 jewels apiece, the board gets avatar parts, boost medals, magic gem, trio of useful skills, same formula as it's always been, but these are the skills we're getting. So let's take our quick little analysis on this, even though it is not going to be quick, because these are pretty much 3 max skills. This is a triple max skill board, and that is really good because anytime it's triple max skill board, you are getting value of some sort in there. So we've got attack boost 6 max SP gauge 0, attack boost 5 max Lux plus, and second chance 4. Wow, what a lineup of skills to release. So let's go through these one by one, talking about attack boost 6 attack boost 6 max gauge 0. So to start things off, that is multiplying damage times 2.2. So your metal is doing 2.2 times as much damage as it normally would, which makes a big difference when let's say your metal is doing like 500,000 damage. It's now doing 1 million plus damage. That's a lot of damage in comparison to the original amount. So that's just really, really sweet. Times 2.2 damage. Not only that, it doesn't say it in the, oh well, it says max there. 100% proc rate. that is really good. Times 2.2 100% of the time, that is just really, really good. And then not only that, it lowers the cost to 0. Like, that is crazy. So that's really important because a lot of high-powered metals have high gauge costs, but restore gauges at the same time. So for example, let's go ahead to my metal list and we will go take a look at these super quickly. So I already have it set to metals that cost 5 or more gauges. And let's take a look here. So Hercules. Alright, so it does 4 hits, raises P strength by 7 tiers for 1 turn, restores 4 gauges. So if you had that skill on Hercules B, it's giving you 4 gauges. Yes, you have to have the 7 gauges initially to activate it, but once you do, you're gaining 4 gauges. Let's move on to a more recent metal, Prime Illustrated Axel. Deal 6 hits 1 turn, blah 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 blah, all the way to the end where it says fill 3 gauges. So if you had attack boost 6 max, SP gauge 0 on this, you're doing 2.2 times the amount of damage 100% of the time, and you're also gaining 3 gauges. So that's just really good because in a lot of events today, you know, you're going to want to have these high damage dealing metals, but you're also going to want to have that restoring. So it's a super nice bonus that you can have a metal, it does a lot of damage, and it also heals your gauges as well. So that's just a really key point to know that moving forward, we're probably going to get more of these things where, again, they're going to have a high damage output, you're going to want an attack boost skill on them, and you can also benefit by gaining gauges from that same metal. So let's move back on to our notice here. Alright, what else do I want to say about attack boost 6 max gauge 0? It's great for a lot of events overall. So we're thinking things like marathon events, like high score challenges where you have to face consecutive amounts of enemies back to back to back. To be able to keep your gauges high in order to complete the whole thing can be super important in order to make sure you're getting your highest score possible. Because you don't want to get to the final boss and then you're out of gauges, because then you have nothing to do. You can't like even attack at that point. All you can do is like swipe and tap, which is not going to get you very far. So it's super great for high score challenges. It's great for Coliseum, especially if you like are marathoning it, especially if you're putting a bunch of high damage dealing metals on there and you don't have things like Illustrated Kyrie EX or Illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Kyrie EX, which restore gauges and buff you at the same time. If you're going in with things like stained glass and then prime metals and you don't really have a lot of gauge restoring going on, having the gauge 0 skill is going to save you some gauges. It's going to make it a little bit easier to go through that entire event, through that Coliseum round really, and be able to knock out all the enemies. So that's a really great skill to have for, again, like marathon events. Not only that, but having the gauge 0 is really important for metals that have extra attack. Because if it is a gauge 0 skill and you put on something that has extra attack, it guarantees that those 2 extra attacks are going through. So what do I mean by that? So when you go into a metal and you unleash its special attack gauge, or it's a special attack, you know, just a special attack, it drains some of your gauges. So even if it's like attack boost 6 gauge 1, attack boost 6 gauge 2, it's going to drain some gauges. And let's say the metal costs 7 gauges to activate, and you only have 7 gauges left. So if you have attack boost 6 max, SP gauge 1, and it doesn't restore any gauges, you're going to end up with 6 special attack gauge words. It's a big long marathon of words. So you're going to end up with 6 gauges left, and that is not enough to activate that extra attack. With gauge 0, you are guaranteeing that you're going to get those 2 attacks off back to back because no gauges are being eaten. So that is super important for some metals where they don't restore your gauges. And then lastly, talking about this skill, it's good for PvP because odds are most people are ditching any form of gauge restoring outside of the heavy hitter metals. So again, like Illustrated Diz, Prime Illustrated Axel, Aladdin and Magic Carpet, that kind of stuff. So aside from metals that restore gauges, odds are you're ditching the gauge restoring ability in order to deal damage. So this becomes very important because it makes sure you get to the end of your Keyblade rotation, activating all your special attacks, doing the most amount of damage you can in PvP, while at the same time, you know, not needing to sacrifice like your metal setup in order to add like gauge restoring in there. So that's really important for, again, restoring your gauges, especially for the reverse keyblades that only have about like 10 to 11 special attack gauges without any sort of max gauge plus traits. Alright, so that was a pretty heavy one to talk about. We're going to move on to one that has already been released, so there's not much to talk about here, but we will still go through the whole slew. So Attack Boost 5 Max Lux Plus Plus. It is still the best Lux skill that we have in the game right now. It multiplies the amount of Lux gained times 4. I forgot where I saw it. Someone put a post up. So regular Lux Plus multiplies the amount of Lux times 2.5, and then Lux Plus Plus multiplies it times 4. That is really, really big. That is a huge difference. So let's say if you're doing a raid boss and you're getting 2,500, sorry, I want to do 250,000 Lux, you're now going to get 1,000,000 Lux from the same amount. So that's just super good to have that times 4 Lux, because it plays an essential role essentially in raiding nowadays. So going back to the first part of the skill, Attack Boost 5 Max, that is times 2 the amount of attack power 100% of the time. And that, again, we've talked about it multiple times in this video, is just really, really good to have that consistent damage going out every single time you activate it. This skill, particularly because it's got Lux Plus Plus on it, is almost necessary if you're in a raid party. So for some people, some parties, they require like a Lux minimum, or they require a certain rank minimum. Having Lux Plus Plus is going to make sure you stay within that Lux minimum, stay within that like rank minimum every single week for like raid boss weeks, for just weekend bosses in general. So that's just really good because it helps those people stay in the parties that they want to stay in. I think this skill is absolutely broken if you have a medal with double or triple damage in raids on it, because that is a huge amount of damage going out to that raid boss, and you're also getting a bunch of Lux from it. It's super sweet, super helpful, and it's just overall fantastic. A Keyblade full of this skill is starting to become the standard for raiding. So a lot of the top players in this game now have pretty much Attack Boost 5 Max Lux Plus Plus on every single medal of their raid setup, because I think to date this is the 6th one we're getting, 8th one. We got it from the Sora and Kairi Kingdom Hearts 3 boards. We got it from the Captain Goofy boards, I believe. Is it the Captain Goofy boards? I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure people are starting to load up their entire raid setup with that skill, and then like second chance to keep them going. Yeah, okay, so it is the Captain Goofy ones. So Captain Goofy got it. I believe this one's, yeah. So the Dragoon and Dancer, the Record Keeper ones, only came with the regular Lux Plus. So there are a total of 6 Lux Plus Plus skills floating around. And again, they're on the Kingdom Hearts 3 boards, the Captain Goofy boards, and now on the Hercules and Megara boards. So yeah, it's becoming the new standard. So for people that want to, keep raiding, keep ranking and raiding, this is starting to become the necessary minimum in order to keep it up. And then one more thing I want to mention about Lux Plus Plus is that remember that Lux is important after level 300 too. So every 50 levels after level 300, you're going to get an avatar board that gives you just 5,000 jewels for nothing. So essentially, in order to reward you for getting that far, you're getting 5,000 jewels. And having this skill makes it easier to hit that 350, that 400, that 450, that 500, to get those extra 5,000 jewels for, again, just leveling up, essentially. So that is the last point I want to make about Lux Plus Plus. I know I said it was going to be short, but I ended up doing the whole slew of it. Moving on to the last skill, Second Chance 4, which might as well be called Second Chance Max. So it has an activation rate of 89%, and then when you add skill perks, it's probably like 100% pretty much. I don't know how skill perks work. I don't know if it's like has like an exponential kind of rate going on, or if it's linear. But the point is, 89% plus skill perk plus skills. Skill perk plus perks is just really good, because then you're getting that second chance every single time. So that's pretty much it about Second Chance 4. It is still very necessary for multiple aspects of the game. So for things like high score challenges, again, you want to be able to make it to the final boss. Once you get knocked out, there is no continuing. You have to rely on HP recovery 1 and Second Chance to keep you going. And having 100% Second Chance going off, super useful. Again, max skills are just way too good nowadays to be able to pass up. They're pretty much the new standard. In Coliseum, if you're trying to buy some extra rounds in order to either get to the round you can one turn, or if you're just doing a final push and you're only able to hit the point where you can pretty much just survive each round, making it one by one, Second Chance makes that a lot easier as well. Not only that, but Second Chance is really good for ridiculously hard events. So events where, you have to fight some sort of crazy boss monster and you have to do it without friend medals. Most of the time, the objectives for that quest are gonna be do not continue. So let's see if there's one going on right now. I don't know if there is, but the objective for the most part is just don't continue. No, we don't have anything like that. Nuts. I should have done it with the, or is it this one? No, complete within one turn. I should have used the Zexion event to kind of illustrate this. But most of the time, the objective for those super hard quests is do not continue. And with Second Chance, it technically doesn't count as a continue, so it allows you to push for more damage, defeat that boss monster, and hit the objectives that are do not continue. You get all your rewards, and that's just super awesome. So that's the analysis of the trio of skills. Let's move on to the avatar parts. So you're going to get 4 avatar parts with Hercules, and then 3 avatar parts with Megara, but both of them are going to come with a wrist item that gives item drop perk +3. So let's go ahead and check out my outfits, because that's going to pretty much say how many we've gotten, or at least how many I've gotten personally. So I already have it filtered to... No, I don't have it filtered. Now I have it filtered. Okay, so these are all the ones that I have that give item drop perk plus something. And if we move all the way down to the wrist, I've only got 3 items that give item drop perk +3. So it might be filling a demand for people that need that item drop perk in order to gain some, like, I don't know, like extra raid coins or something. I'm not really sure what item drop perk affects, but it is, again, it's just an addition to those skills, which would normally cost people like 1,500 jewels each on a skills to throw banner. So it's a nice little plus to have a perk that isn't too abundant, in my opinion. Moving on to the additional bonuses, like we were talking about earlier with the Stitch and Angel ones, we're gonna get a magic gem again. So again, we're just getting loaded with magic gems. I don't know if they're prepping us for something, but I have like 80 something magic gems, something like that. So yeah, there's just a bunch of magic gems. I'm actually not going to show my inventory. It's actually probably going to make someone vomit. But we're getting a lot of magic gems for some reason. I'm not really sure why we're getting a bunch of magic gems, but maybe they're setting us up for something. Unfortunately, we are still not getting any Mickey and Brooms, like I was talking about with the Stitch and Angel one. Replace that Sid 10, please. We don't need it. People can make 21 Sids just by doing the extra quest in the special events page. So I hope they replace that Sid 10 with a Mickey and Brooms, because we don't need that Sid 10. There's a lot of easy ways to get Sid 10s. For the Meg board, you're getting an extra 6-star chip. Again, it's because there's one less avatar part in there, which I want to say plays in the benefit for people that buy the Meg one over the Hercules one. So just keep that in mind, you're getting an extra chip there. And then lastly, the titles you're going to get for the Hercules one, if you buy all the nodes in that one, or if you just purchase the board and essentially unlock all the nodes because they're all free, you're going to get the title Almighty, which might be pretty big for people, especially if they're My Hero Academia fans, because if they didn't have the Y there, you could have added the extra L in there. You could have been like, title insert here, All Might, which would have been super funny. And then for the female avatar board, you're going to get Heir of, which could be really funny. Based on what you put after that of, or it could be something super serious based on what you put after the of. So that's pretty much it for this avatar board. So overall, I really like both of these avatar boards because Defense Boost 3 Max is still essential for a lot of people, making the Stitch and Angel one kind of alluring. Because again, for 2,500 jewels, you're getting a gem, you're getting some brooms, you're getting 3 really solid skills minus that attack boost 7, which is kind of up and down for some people. So for 2,500 jewels, you're getting a whole mess of value, and then Defense Boost 3 Max, which is pretty necessary for, again, PvP, for new players, for people that have a hard time getting through some of the difficult events. So this is still a good board, even though I don't think it's as good as the Hercules and Megara one. Still a good board. Hercules and Megara, this board is awesome. I might buy both of them, to be perfectly honest. I will wait, though, till that 11th day, because I don't need the skills right now. So if you don't need the skills right now, again, you can wait wait it out. Don't buy things immediately just because you're like, oh, this is so hype, I need it right now. If you don't need it, you can wait. You have 11 days to make your decision, and that's also an extra 11 days to build up some jewels. So that's my analysis of these boards. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to please drop them down in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer them. I know this is kind of a long video, so if you're making it all the way to the end, hopefully you times 2 sped the whole thing and it only took you 15 minutes to watch versus the 30 minutes it's at right now. But as always, everyone, until the next time, take it easy.